So to find the foci of a hyperbola, so I know it's a hyperbola because it's a subtraction sign in between, I'm going to use the formula c squared equals a squared plus b squared. So in this case, I'm going to have c squared equals 4 plus 36, which is 40. So the foci are going to be the same as the transverse axis, and this hyperbola is going side to side because it goes x squared minus y squared. So my foci are going to be at plus or minus the square root of 40, which is plus or minus 2 root 10. So plus or minus 2 root 10, 0. So to graph it, what I'm going to do is find the asymptotes. So I can already tell that it's going side to side because it's x squared minus y squared. So the vertices are going to be at positive 2 and negative 2. And then to find the asymptotes, I'm going to do y equals the square root of what's underneath the y, which is the square root of 36, which is 6, over the square root of what's underneath the x, which is 2. So it's plus or minus 6 over 2x. So that is the same thing as y equals plus or minus 3x. So I'm going to go up 3, right 1, down 3, left 1. And do the same thing over here and draw 2 lines. Okay, so I have 2 lines for my asymptotes. So label the asymptotes. So I'm going to label this as y equals positive 3x. And this one is y equals negative 3x. So to figure out the other points on my hyperbola, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to my original equation, and I'm going to plug in a number for x, substitute number in for x, and solve for y. So I'm just going to choose a number that is in between, that is not in between negative 2 and 2, because this hyperbola is going to go this way. So I'm going to plug in 3. If I plug in 4, which I've actually already done, if I plug in 4, it's okay. I end up getting 13, but it's off the chart. So I'm just going to plug in 3 and solve for y. So it's going to be 3 squared over 4 minus y squared over 36 equals 1. So on my calculator, I'm going to take 1 and subtract 3 squared divided by 4. Okay, so that would cancel this out. Then I'm going to multiply both sides by negative 36. That gets rid of this. So now I have y squared equals 45. So now I take the square root of 45, which is 6.7. So that means that my ordered pairs are going to be plus or minus 3, because that's what I plugged in, and plus or minus 6.7 approximately. So that's how I'm going to finish off my hyperbola. I'm going to go right 3, up 6.7, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So you're approximating, you're getting very close here to this asymptote. Right 3, down 6.7. I was a little bit sloppy right there. Ooh, actually I see I went down 3, right 2 for that. So just be more careful, and I go left 3, up 6.7, and left 3, down 6.7. Okay, just be more precise. So I can see what I did with my slope sloppily. I should have went down 3, right 1. I went down 3, right 2. I moved it over. Okay, number 8. Write an equation for a hyperbola centered at the origin with a horizontal transverse axis. So that tells us it's going to be x squared over minus y squared over equals 1. And they already give us that a is 11, so that's going to be your vertices. So 11 squared is 121, and then c is 15, so I'm going to use c squared equals a squared plus b squared. So c squared is 225 equals 11 squared plus b squared. So 225 minus 121 is 104, so b squared equals 104. I don't need to take the square root of that, I can just put 104 right here. Okay, number 9, write an equation for a hyperbola centered at the origin with the following characteristics. A vertical axis with length of 8. So that means it's going up and down. So I know it's going to be y squared minus x squared equals 1. So if it has a length of 8, that means that this is going to be 4 and this is going to be negative 4. And the perimeter of the central rectangle is 28. So if you have this box right here, and we know that this length is 8, and this length is 8, what is going to be, if it's a rectangle, this plus this, I have 28 equals 8 plus 8 plus, we'll call it x plus x. So 28 equals 16 plus 2x. So x has to equal 6. So that means that this distance going across is 6. So this ordered pair right here is going to be 3, negative 4. So 3, so it's going right 3, down 4. So if it's going right 3, that means underneath the x is going to be 9. And if it's going up 4, underneath the y is going to be 16. And then number 10, given y squared minus x squared equals 1, determine the equations of the asymptotes and the foci. So I don't have to graph it. So my asymptotes are going to be y equals plus or minus the square root of what's underneath the y, because that's 5, over the square root of what's underneath the x, that's 1. Don't forget to put the x. So your asymptotes are going to be plus or minus 5x. In the foci, remember, it's going to be, there's a 1 underneath here, it's going to be c squared equals a squared plus b squared. So c squared equals 25 plus 1. C squared equals 26. And this is going up and down. So your foci are going to be on the y-axis. So it's going to be 0 plus or minus root 26.